Good morning. Recapping Saturday's game, it's kind of exactly what I told the players. Number one, we got beat by a better team, no doubt about it. Certainly that day. Um, I thought we played hard. We played with some energy, actually, when you watch it all the way down. I mean, I think we're getting effort, so that was a good thing. However, we made way too many mistakes and just really got out executed when you look at it. I mean, they made the plays, they threw, they caught, they did everything that you have to do, and we didn't for the most part. So that kind of got out of, and then after that, it just kind of got out of hand. But, looking at it and breaking down, we were excited about, because we really big emphasis on it. We didn't think we did a very good job the first couple of weeks covering kicks, and we thought we did a pretty good job. The punt return guy is one of the leaders in the nation last year, number one, and so we feel we punted. He actually tried to run three of them back, and we thought we did a great job of netting the ball and doing all that and covered it really good. And got down there, kickoff return. They hit the one to the 35. The others, we thought we did a really good job. One guy got out of his lane on the kickoff return. Hopefully we can correct that. It was a guy that actually knew that was on there. Then the other times he actually did it really good. So we thought that was a positive. We thought creating 2 turnovers to start the game was a positive. We also thought, too, for some of what I guess we expected going in and some of the results we had seen from last year and this year, we moved the football pretty good. And, at times. The not good was that we didn't capitalize on the first 2 turnovers. That's not good. We had a really poor turnover in the first half that really I thought cost us 2. On an RPO that just shouldn't have happened that way. And then defensively, we just couldn't get them off the field. And then one of the keys, too, we thought that Florida State or anything towards the end of the year last year, I thought the last half of the year we played good defense. We didn't give up chunk plays, and, we gave up 2 just huge plays, on the double move on the wheel route that happened right in front of me. And then, which I don't blame. I would have been doing it by that time of the year, too, because we couldn't affect the quarterback. So we started trying to pressure him, and we all out blitzed him, and they hit the kid on the crossing route. We missed the tackle, and there he goes. But when you're all out blitz, that's one of the things that could be a problem when you do that. But again, just not a very good day for us. And like I said, there was we got out executed and possibly out coached in positions when you look at it. And the other thing too that I guess I'm really disappointed in myself in is that I didn't do enough, I guess, pre-research looking into it. And if you guys, I don't know, I think Scott and I know some of the guys here were there, but I don't think any of you guys were actually there. I mean, we couldn't stay on our feet, and I did a very poor job of researching that ahead of time and having us with the right footing. Now they slipped too, but not like we did. And so anyway, I should have done a better job of researching that as well. But I was asked about special teams the other day, and obviously that's not the way we wanted to start too, with Jared and I'll say, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way, because I don't second guess officiating. I never have, never will, because I make mistakes throughout the course of the game. I've never seen that called. I've never had that called on me one time, and I went back in every game, and I think you can sit there and watch football a whole weekend and not see that call. Now it's a call that's called often on punt, because you try to cheat back on punt, but it's an interesting call, and then of course then we missed the next one, and it kind of goes on from there. But but anyway, moving forward, which we have to do because we have a big game this week against South Alabama to start conference, and both of us need a win. We're 1-2, having back-to-back Power 5 teams, and they're 1-3. Played a really tough schedule when you look at it to this point. I mean, their 3 losses are to Nebraska, which they did a really good job in that Nebraska game. They gave themselves a chance to win, and then, of course, they got beat by Memphis, and then last week they got beat by UAB, who won Conference USA last year. So it's not like that. Their 3 losses were to anybody that wasn't good, and so we know they'll be hungry for a win too. Have a lot of respect for Steve Campbell. We kind of go back to our Southland days. I think he's a really good football coach, and he's one of those guys that you go back and that I've always respected because of the way his teams played against us. and you go back and look at his record, the guy's won everywhere he's been. So I think it's imminent there too. He'll turn that around and get them going in the right direction. If you look at what he's done back to Gulf Coast, back to Delta State, to Gulf Coast, to Central Arkansas. He was the old line coach when they were doing really good at Mississippi State back in the day. He's a good football coach, and so I have a lot of respect for him, which we all do, and think it'll be a really good game. You look at them offensively; they've kind of searching, I guess. Johnson, Cephas, or whatever, the quarterback does really good things. 6'5", I think 230 pounds. When you look at him and you turn on the deal, he looks like Vince Young. And he can run. He's long, and he's played really good at times. They've taken him out. They've played actually two other guys, and stuff. Then they put him back in. So I think they're still trying to solidify that position. Trey Minner's actually missed some time this year. He came back in the UAB game, but they didn't run him like they normally do when you looked at his carries and his touches. But he came back for the first time from injuries. But when he's playing and he's healthy, I think he's one of the better players in our league, because he not only runs the ball, he's also one of our leading receivers, and he's also their punt return and kick return guy. I think he's a really good football player, and I was really surprised that he had another year this year, to be honest with you, because he's somebody that we've been facing now for years. And then the other guy too that is an all-conference guy is Kawan Baker, is their wideout, and I think he wears number 15, but he's 6'2", I think, over 200 pounds, and catches the ball, catches a deep ball. He's also a guy that they run on speed sweeps and all that and get the football to. So we're going to have to worry about them. Defensively this year, they switched to an odd front, which they've been four-down fronts now. But I think that's more to what Coach Campbell wants to do and Coach Stewart wants to do. And if you go back to when Coach Stewart was the defensive coordinator at Lafayette, that's kind of what they do. He's an odd front guy. And they've had some injuries this year defensively, and but when they're healthy, even with the injuries, they start 4 seniors on the D-line. But, so, it's not like they're playing young guys out there, but they have had some injuries. The most notable is to Turner, number 12. And he didn't play again last week. When I was watching the televised game of them against Memphis, they kept acting like he and Minner's return were both imminent. And Minner actually came back last week and Turner didn't. But if he comes back, he's one of those guys, in our opinion, he wears number 12. And if y'all remember him, he is a beast in there on the defensive line. He's one of those guys, when we got the all-conference ballots, you just, yes, no doubt. He's a no-brainer in terms of one of the better guys in our league up front. He was really hard to handle. And like I said, they've played without him now since the Nebraska game for the next 3 games. So, but we obviously have to play better than what we did, and that's the main focus of what we're doing. And obviously we'll give South Alabama all the attention that we give everybody else, but a big emphasis is on us and playing better and executing better than what we did the other night, because nothing I've talked about was any excuse for we got to play better than that, and hopefully we will. On the injury front, we're hoping, we'll find out hopefully for sure, possibly today, but we're hoping to get Tyler Lamb back. I think Cameron Darling, is iffy at best, but we actually went into the game with 2 tight ends, in the game with Peterson and Hickman were the only 2 that we had that were dressed and were ready to play. So I'd at least like to get a 3rd guy back, and obviously Lamb's played a lot here, would really help us out. We took a good long look yesterday at Austin Vaughn. I thought he had a good day with what we were doing yesterday. I thought Kyeem White had a pretty good day at what we were doing yesterday. I would say Javen Myers is still questionable, because we took those 3 kids out yesterday. Trainer, me, and Coach Graves, the running backs coach, and we took them out and did some stuff with them, just them, and some cutting stuff or whatever. And I thought they certainly look like they have a chance, to get back. So we'll see how that works out. Any questions?
Start off, you mentioned how important is it just to move forward right now, because you can't let this thing really linger or fester anymore, especially with starting confidence.
You just have to. This, you just move, you move past it, and it's just what you do. It's, told the players yesterday. I'm talking the same way I talk to the players, I'm talking to y'all now. I mean, it's, hey, we got beat, it's simple as that. We got to execute better. We got to, we got to tackle better. We have to just do a lot of things better, moving forward. That's all you can do. You go back and, the correct mistakes and move forward. But, that's just the way it is. And, it happened to be an early game, and we had a bus ride from the stadium to the airport. And then, of course, then you have the airport. So, I texted back and forth with, I don't know, probably 12 to 15 of the players and told them that on the bus going back, and then told them that again yesterday. Hey, man, we got beat, I mean, we pure D and simple, we got beat. And if you look at it, well, you pretty much got beat in all phases of what we were doing. And, it happens. And then, when you get to a certain point of the game, and I've always said this, it's one of the, I've never thought, and we were talking about this the other day at the quarterback club, I've never thought, and still don't think, even after this game and Florida State game, there's no correlation between getting more guys hurt in a Power 5 game than there is a Division II game, for that matter. And I know people say that. So I think that's a falsity. But what is reality, however, is my wife and I were talking about this when I got home. We were watching the game. I said, look, the majority of the time when a Group of 5 team plays a Power 5 team, a lot of the time, they're going to have more talent. But 110% of the time when we empty the bench and they empty the bench, their backups are better than yours. That's just a fact. And so, I said, look, I mean, when it comes to a certain point, we got our guys out, they got their guys out. But, that whatever, running back he was, I always go back to the, and I'm not saying that they're this, but I always go back to the, and draw the parallel to some of that. But when we played Miami years ago, and toward the end of the game, they're trying to pull them off. I mean, Miami is. Of course, we got a conference game next week, so we pull all ours out too. And they had a running back that broke a 75-yarder and an 85-yarder, and he was the fourth running back to win in the game. His name was Clinton Bordas. I mean, so you go, wow, there you go. And, I mean, look, and they're trying to pull them off. They just running the ball. But, we pull them off too. But, you put them guys in, and, so it's just, I think that particular game, I think he was like the fourth or fifth running back to go in the game. He was a freshman. But, it's kind of the way it is. So, but like I said, that's, no doubt you got to put it behind you and move on, and that's all you can do. I mean, even if we went over there and would have won the game, I mean, you come back and, not the players and whoever. I mean, you let them relax or be down and depressed that day. But as coaches, I mean, by the time I get to the bus, I'm done with the win or the loss. I mean, you're immediately thinking about the next game and what you have to do and what you have to do better. And then, when the kids come the next day, I mean, it's done. It's over. You correct mistakes, whether you win or you lose, and you move on. I think it's the only way to do it.
Last year, you had the game against Ole Miss, and then you followed it up with some of the best defensive performances of the season. Is that something you can lean on this year as well? It's not really an indication of the unit. Sometimes it's one game and snowballs.
Possibly. I think, I'm hoping. I hope you're right, Sean. And I said, I mean, there's certain things, and, some of it was us, no doubt about it, and we have to fix that. But you credit like a team like Ole Miss, or you credit them. Some of it was them. We're actually in position several times on that 6-7 tight end or whatever, and he just, just like number 12 was in position when Josh Peterson did the same to him. It's just, they made some plays. I'll give them that. The quarterback had a really good day. Other than the two mistakes he made at the beginning of the game, he's pretty sharp. And I thought they're wideouts and stuff. But there are some times, too, when we actually had good coverage. We had some in, and they made the play. And then there are times that, we got to correct that. So we attributed to some of it, obviously. But I thought they executed pretty good. I mean, you could tell, coming off a big loss. I mean, they had the right mindset, too. And I give them a lot of credit. And, also, too, and, I think everybody in the room that'll agree with me that were there. I mean, what a big time deal they have. I mean, boy, they had a great setup and a great deal, and the way we were treated and the whole deal. But I certainly take my hat off to Iowa State and their administration, their coaches, their fans. I've never seen people stay that long, the whole game. ever. It's pretty interesting. And like I said, I don't know what the TV copy shows or whatever, but they're up 70 to 20, whatever they are, whatever the numbers are. And, we're driving down the score right at the end of the game with our backups and their backups, and they hold us and they get a standing ovation. It's pretty cool, I thought. It's something I've never seen before, because certainly by that time of the game with the score, there's nobody left. But I would say I got to looking when they did that. It was interesting. You look around, and I'd say probably 2/3, 3/4 of the crowd was still there, and I don't know. I thought that was interesting, but hats off to them. I thought it's a first-class place.
Coach, after the game, was it a sense of deflation in the locker room, or was it more anger and frustration from the players?
I don't know. I don't think it's, it's anger and stuff like that. I'm not going to allow that. But, hopefully you're a little frustrated. And I think it's, you kind of, because at the half, it's the Ole Miss game was out of hand at the half, but we were, didn't feel good that we didn't capitalize on 2 turnovers. And didn't feel good that, they started kind of getting on a little bit of a roll on offense. And, we held them a field goal, and I thought that was critical at that time. I know I got booed for calling those timeouts to try to freeze the kicker, but I thought that was critical, because we scored, and, maybe if we can hold them right there. But still, it's whatever it was. I forgot, but it was less than 14, So, we were right in there. So, at that particular time, I think, it was more kind of – what was the first word you used?
Deflation.
Yeah, I think maybe more of that, really, and kind of, because you kind of – like I said, I think the Ole Miss feeling was a little bit different. Oklahoma, the first year we were here, it's, like, wow, let's win the second half. You get one of them speeches. But we're right in the game there and stuff, and feel like if you go out and, maybe get a stop or, we were actually in better position we were at the Florida State game, before Corey picked it off and stuff, and then we got right back into it. So at that particular time, that's what you're thinking. Hey, just a play or two here or there, we're right back in this thing, and stuff, and just didn't happen.
Like you mentioned, you and Steve go back a ways. You coached against each other for a while back in the Southland, but when you look at what he's trying to do, getting that program going in South Alabama, do you see parallels in some of the jobs, that you've done rebuilding this place?
Possibly. I'm not real sure exactly. We recruit against them some, but I'm not exactly sure, what the philosophy is and, kind of how he's doing it. But like I said, I just know that I firmly believe that, who he is and his background or whatever, he's going to get it. They'll get that thing and, more the way he wants to. And I think I read something that he was talking about before the Memphis game, and he was saying that, he's really close. He thinks he's, they're right there. And I know the feeling, when you think you're so close and, and sometimes, but, I just think he's a really good coach. And, he just, when you meet Steve, he's a football coach, That's you can tell that. From his demeanor and who he is and stuff. But he's just a really good guy, and I think he's a good coach. And like I said, the guys he's put around him, with Stewart, and then Edenfield, was the OC at Troy all those years, and he chose to leave Troy to go with Steve, which goes to show you, the respect that Steve carries in our profession, and they'll get it.
Coach, I saw South Alabama's defense has like 6 or 7 interceptions.
Yeah.
So far this season. When you talk to Caleb, you talk to other guys in the offense. How careful do you think they'll be?
You have to do what you do, I guess, and they have certainly forced some of them, no doubt. They've made some really good plays. One of them was at the end of the game last week against UAB. They had 2 against UAB, but one of them was like at the very end of the game when both of them had emptied the bench. And but that's just. They're going to have good players. We know that. And I've always said that about South Alabama, and it's no different now. When you cut on the film or you get on the field, when you just the eye test, they're going to meet it again. I promise you. They got good-looking players, and we know they'll have some guys back in the secondary that can run. But we just have to continue to get better, and I think Caleb's done some great things this year. Just so happens that one in the first half, that I thought was a costly turnover, but certainly don't have any complaints with what he's done so far and how he's progressed this year.
One thing about Caleb too, he hit another milestone moment Saturday, hitting his 7,000 career passing yards. So he's
That is good for him. I didn't know that. Good for him. And you know, and I think, you know, Adam, we talked about that too. You know, because I think you and I have on multiple times that, you know, possibly, you know, he took a step back last year and stuff. But when you look at just from a pure production standpoint, I mean, guy's been a pretty productive football player. You know, both running and throwing. Now for us, for, you know, I guess 3-4 years almost, you know, because he came in halfway during this, or towards about halfway during his first year. But he's been a productive football player, and you know, I'm glad he's on our team. So I wish we have him another year.
Also, going to honor Johnny Robinson Saturday too. That's a pretty cool deal as well.
That is. Don't know much about Mr. Robinson other than, you know, what he's accomplished and stuff like that. But that's pretty cool from everything I hear. You know, people like you and other people I've heard from, just a really good person and stuff. And I'm excited to see that.
Coach, it's been a while since been at home. It's been about a month.
Yeah.
But still have the highest attendance of a single game inside the conference. How nice would it be to have that kind of crowd we have for Grambling in here on Saturday?
It would be great, no question about it. It would be great, and you know, and we'll see. But you know, hopefully we play better and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I would be really good, you know, to see another good crowd come out. You know, we have back-to-back home games here, and you know, like I said, at the beginning of the year, you know, I think everybody's excited. We are for sure. And hats off to our administration, to Doc, you know, people that were part of it. But we have 6 home games this year, so you know, we have an opportunity for people to come out and playing really good teams when you look at it that are coming in here and stuff, like South Alabama, like Memphis next week, Arkansas State. You know, you look at it, we have some really good opponents coming in here. So hopefully we can play good. Appreciate it.